My dear friends, gather close, and let me share with you a story of a man who once served his country with honor, but now sleeps forgotten on the streets. One night, fate places him in front of danger, and with nothing but courage left, he saves a woman whose world is tied to powerful enemies. What begins as chance will soon grow into something neither of them expected. If you'd like to help our little channel keep growing, please give a like, subscribe, and most of all, tell us where you're watching from in the comments below. Now, let's begin. He was a quiet veteran, sleeping beside glass towers and slow taxis. She was a sharp attorney, stepping from a black car, late. Rain threatened earlier, but now cold air hung clear and hard. 3 masked men waited near the bumper, still as dark statues. He saw their shoes first, the wrong stance for businessmen, trouble. The door opened. She adjusted her sleeve. A phone kept buzzing. "Ma'am," he called softly, not begging, just warning with steady eyes. She looked over, confused. Then the first blade flashed near headlights. He threw his cart sideways, metal screaming, and shoved her behind. The cart smashed one attacker. A brief rain of glass exploded. He grabbed a fallen umbrella, swung it like a baton, fast. "Run to the driver," he said. "Lock the doors now." She stumbled, steadied, then helped pull him inside the car. Another attacker kicked the window. He pushed the door like a shield. Horns blared. A crowd turned. The third man changed direction, circling. He stepped out again, shoulders low, breathing slow like training days. The attacker rushed. He sidestepped, hooked the ankle, sent him down. Sirens grew. The 3 melted into shadows, promise of return. She stared at him, shaking. "Who are you?" Her voice trembled. "Just someone passing by," he said, steady. "Someone who noticed feet." The driver nodded, whispering thanks, eyes wide, hands still trembling. Security arrived late, asked questions, gathered shell casings and shoe prints. She saw blood on his knuckles. "Please, let me help you." He shook his head. "No hospital." "I can't show papers, ma'am." "Then come upstairs," she said. "At least warm up and eat." He hesitated, looked at the night, then followed, keeping respectful distance. Upstairs, the lobby smelled of lemon and stone. Guards whispered quietly. She led him to a conference room, bright, empty, echoing. He washed his hands, wrapped them with tape from her drawer. "You move like training," she said. "Military?" Her tone held curiosity. He nodded once. "Long ago. Another life. Ended badly, though." She poured tea. Those men weren't random. They were waiting, precise. He watched the windows. "Debt?" he asked. "Somebody wants leverage, maybe." She exhaled. "Japanese creditors. My father left me problems and enemies." Silence stretched. The tea steamed. His shoulders relaxed a little. "Why were you outside?" she asked. "There every night?" She swallowed. "Safer near lights," he said. "I clean up trash for tips." She looked at the umbrella, bent like a brave bird, resting. "You saved my life," she said. "I need help again." He shook his head. "I'm not licensed. I don't have papers." "I don't need papers," she said. "I need you, in quiet." "They will return," he warned, "and bring more than 3. She nodded. "Then hide with me by not being seen." "You want me invisible," he said. "A bodyguard nobody notices." "Exactly," she said. "Stay outside. Stay homeless, at least on paper." The word tasted bitter, but he understood cover and patience. "Payment?" he asked carefully. "Food, repairs, maybe a bed later?" "Food now," she said. "Cash weekly. We build something better soon." He considered the cost, pride, risk, and sleeping within earshot. "All right," he said. "I'll stand the nights." "You keep the days?" She smiled, tired but bright. "Deal," she said, offering her hand. His grip was careful, warm, a promise formed without any ceremony. Outside, the driver replaced the shattered window with plastic and tape. He set his cart beside the door, new dents shining dull. He checked sight lines, corners, and reflections in the glass front. She texted someone, "Cancel dinner, check locks, eye cameras tomorrow morning." The city kept moving, unaware a small contract had just formed. He found a dry alcove, spread cardboard, and tucked in quietly. He laid the umbrella nearby, bent wing guarding a sleeping soldier. Across the street, a camera blinked red, catching night like fireflies. He closed his eyes, replayed movements, counting beats between footsteps. She phoned her sister, voice soft. "Someone helped me. I'm safe," the sister worried. "Call police." "I did," she lied gently. She looked down at the street, saw him curl inside coat. Something tugged her heart, strange warmth, gratitude heavier than fear. He dreamed of sand ranges, radio chatter, and promises kept anyway. Dawn found him sweeping glass into a bucket, quietly making things right. She brought coffee, 2 sandwiches, and a simple first aid kit. "Thank you," he said, surprised. "You're not required to do this." "Neither were you," she said. "Yet here we are, alive." They planned routes, lobby to garage, garage to office, stairwells, exits. He taught the driver a brake check that wedges attackers between cars. He showed her how keys become points, how heels can pivot. "Call me when you move," he said. No lone elevators anymore. She listened closely, practicing small steps that built quiet confidence. By noon, rumors spread. A failed attack, a mysterious protector appearing. She laughed at the whispers, but her eyes checked every shadow. The men returned that evening, holding cameras, not knives, testing nerves. He saw their tattoos peek under cuffs, the story inked already. He staged a stumble, spilled coffee, and ruined their perfect shot. They cursed in whispers, backed away, and called someone farther downriver. He exhaled slow. "They'll build a case, then a trap. Careful." "How long do we hide?" she asked. "Until when?" Her voice small. "Not hiding," he said. "We gather proof. Then fight on our time." She watched his steadiness, like a lighthouse planted on city stone. Night deepened. Cold sharpened. The plastic window fluttered like a flag. He settled near the door, hood up, eyes open to everything. A text arrived. "Midnight meeting, garage level 2. Bring the contract." He showed her the screen. "It's bait," he said. "Very obvious." "But I must go," she said. "They control tomorrow's court filing." He nodded. "Then we design the meeting, not them." He drew a map on napkins, marked pillars, puddles, angles, doors. She folded the napkins like good luck notes, tucked them into her purse. Midnight waited, patient, while 2 strangers became a team against darkness. The elevator hummed down. The garage smelled like rubber and rain. He arrived early, hid behind a column, listening to water drip. She stepped out alone, heels careful, phone light dimmed to nothing. 3 suits waited near a black van, smiling like polite salesmen. "Contract?" one asked. "Right here," she said, lifting the empty folder. He rolled his cart forward, coughing, hand out for invisible coins. The nearest suit waved him away, then slipped as water spread. He had kicked the puddle. Timing mattered. Shoes lose traction easily. The second suit lunged. The cart blocked. The folder flew upward. He trapped an arm against a pillar, whispered, "Cameras there. Wave now." The man froze, forced to smile, knowing they were being recorded. She backed into light, voice steady. "This ends when the debt ends." "Your father promised interest forever," the tallest said. "Families don't forget." He angled his body, noting watches, earbuds, and neck tattoos. The driver came loud with headlights, filling the garage with daylight. Sirens echoed again. The suits retreated, promising a quieter return. She almost collapsed, but he caught her elbow, then let go. "You did well," he said softly. Breathing stayed calm the whole time. "I hate this," she admitted, "but I'm glad you're here." He nodded. "Me too." He wanted to say more, stopped. Next day, he walked the block ahead, scouting doorways and habits. He learned who smokes, who argues, who leaves boxes by noon. He tucked a burner phone into his sleeve, set to vibrate. She messaged only numbers, 1 for elevator, 2 for lobby danger. 3 meant leave everything. 4 meant call police from the bathroom. At lunch, she fixed a squeaky door so it warned. He watched the reflections in the tinted marble, a poor man invisible. She read files upstairs, but checked the street for his cart. They met by the food truck, casual, sharing dumplings and jokes. "Tell me your name," she asked. "I can't keep calling you, sir." "Call me Jack," he said, short enough to whisper if needed. "I'm Hannah," she replied, short enough to sign without trouble. Their smiles lingered. Steam rose between them like a friendly cloud. That night, he made a shelter with pallets and a tarp. She sent blankets, sealed in plastic, labeled with silly rainbow stickers. He laughed and tucked them safely beneath the cart's rusted shelf. The attackers shifted tactics: fake utility vests, clipboards, harmless faces. He pretended to sleep and filmed them mapping her schedule slowly. The video showed a leader with a dragon coiling his wrist. He sent the clip to an old sergeant who knew some doors. The reply came fast: dangerous clan, debt collectors with clean lawyers. "Midpoint," he muttered. "We push now, or they swallow everything." He crafted a plan using deliveries, elevators, and a friendly florist. The florist agreed to jam a camera with a bouquet at noon. The driver set cones to redirect the van to a tight corner. He positioned his cart where it narrowed the turn extra inch. At noon, the van arrived. The cones and bouquet did their work. A dragon wrist stepped out, annoyed, and saw her and grinned. Jack crossed the lane, pretending to collect bottles, eyes on mirrors. He saw the backup team, 2 more near the exit ramp. 4, she texted, hands steady. She remembered the code perfectly. He nodded to no one, then kicked the cone under the wheel. The van jolted, doors jammed. Dragon Wrist cursed in 2 languages loudly. Jack grabbed a fire hose, cracked the seal, blasted the group backward. The driver flooded the floor with foam. Heels suddenly had better traction. She moved like they practiced, keys in a fist, voice commanding. "Leave now," she shouted, "or the police see your faces everywhere." Dragon Wrist tapped his earbud, hesitated, then signaled retreat to everyone. The team backed off, soaked and angry, muttering about higher approval later. She laughed, nervous, shaking. He wrapped the hose, breathing hard. "You were brave," he said. "Your feet never locked in fear." "You were brilliant," she said. "Also, you're soaked. Please don't catch pneumonia." They stood close, dripping. The driver looked away, smiling to himself. Jack stepped back, remembering lines he should not cross. Not yet. That evening she brought soup, sat curbside, and listened to his stories. He told her about a buddy lost and a promise kept. She told him about law school nights and her father's loud debts. He fixed a torn strap on her purse, hands gentle, sure. "Thank you for seeing me," he said. "Not just the clothes." "Thank you for saving me," she whispered, "and for the dumplings earlier." The street felt warmer. The tarp flapped a soft rhythm above. He trained her in simple moves, palms and wrists, balance and breath. She trained him in documents, how paper builds walls or bridges. Together they learned the building's song, the elevator's sigh, door clicks. Midweek brought a package, a single black lily and a threat. "Bring yourself tomorrow," the note said, or your bodyguard vanishes forever." She stared at the words. Fear tried to climb her lungs. "We answer together," Jack said. "But we answer on our terms." He visited the bike shop, bought chain oil and a tiny bell. He visited a pawn desk, traded a medal for a simple radio. He checked the garage roof, the neighboring alley, the drainage grates carefully. He borrowed chalk from children and drew arrows only he understood. At dawn they rehearsed routes in silence, steps becoming a quiet dance. At noon the dragon wrist returned, smiling for the parking cameras everywhere. Jack waved to the cameras too, letting the world witness their patience. The driver played a song to mask radio chatter beneath the beat. The florist pushed a cart of roses, hiding a spare extinguisher below. Jack lifted a grate, then closed it, counting seconds and echoes. "Ready?" she whispered. "Always," he answered, and time slowed for both. The attack came sideways, a fake ambulance blocking the narrow crossing suddenly. He swung the bell, their signal. She ducked behind the concrete pillar. Cones toppled, foam hissed. The radio chirped. The hose howled again. Security ran at last, late as always, but with real cameras rolling. Dragon wrist spat curses, forced smiles, and backed into the ambulance, defeated. That night Hannah cried from relief, and Jack finally let her hold him. The next week felt quieter, but quiet sometimes hides gathering storms. The clan lawyer filed papers, claiming Jack assaulted employees and tourists. A fake witness swore Jack demanded money and threatened children near benches. Security folded, told him to move along, no loitering near doors. He nodded, packed slowly, dignity folded with the tarp and blanket. Hannah argued hard downstairs, but rules suddenly felt thick and unfriendly. "It's my building," she said. "Let him stay near the lobby." "Liability," they replied, shrugging. "Unless he is officially employed and cleared." Jack shook his head. "No payroll. Our cover matters more than comfort." She hated the answer, but she understood cover saves lives sometimes. That night someone slashed his tarp, tore blankets, and left a warning. He read the message: "Leave the city, or accidents multiply without mercy." He straightened the torn edge, tied a knot, and kept watch. He called the sergeant. "They want me gone." "Hold steady," came back. Hannah sent hot tea and a short note. "I trust you." Jack smiled at the note until the ink blurred with rain. Morning brought detectives asking questions about an old fight in another county. He answered calmly. They sighed. They had to check. Procedure is procedure. The clan watched from across the street, noting weariness in his walk. "They will cut her support," Jack muttered. "One piece at a time." He texted Hannah, "Go with the driver today. No sidewalk stops." She obeyed, uneasy. The building felt taller, colder, somehow less hers. At noon, a boy offered her an envelope with a single coin. The coin bore a dragon. The note demanded a meeting without Jack. She hid the coin, then showed it to him in the alley. "They want me alone," she said. "They think you'll chase them away." "That's the goal," he said. "They split us, then strike hardest." "What do we do?" she asked. Her voice shook just once. "We make me disappear," he said quietly. "At least for today." "No," she said. "I can't stand that idea, not anymore." He touched her sleeve. "If they think I'm gone, they relax." She closed her eyes, breathing. "Fine. But where will you be?" "Above you," he said. "Every step. But they will not see." He climbed the service stairs, found catwalks and vents like old courses. He mapped the floor with chalk dust, then wiped it away carefully. The meeting spot was a tea house with private rooms and cameras. She arrived early, hair tied, suit simple, hands calm and ready. The dragon wrist entered with his lawyer, smiling like clean rainwater. "Pay the balance," the lawyer said, "and sign this lifetime contract. "Lifetime ends now," she replied. "The loan was illegal and cruel." They laughed. The camera lens blinked red, but recording had been disabled. Jack watched from above, saw a second camera hidden in a lantern. He pinged the radio twice. The driver understood and called a friend. The friend was a reporter who loved sudden stories with clear villains. The clan noticed late. They stood up, blocking the door and hallway. "Come with us," Dragon Wrist said. "Your father bought years with promises." Jack lowered a rope from the vent, a memory from training days. Hannah grabbed the rope, but a guard seized her wrist, twisting. Jack dropped, fast and hard, landing between them, knees and elbows working. He cleared a path, shouted, "Move," and pushed her toward the kitchen. A cook stared, then pointed at the back door, heart pounding wildly. They ran through steam and ginger scent, out into alley rain. Tires screamed. The ambulance again. A door slid open with threats. Jack shoved Hannah behind pallets, then turned to meet the rush alone. He moved less like a ghost and more like returning thunder now. The ambulance crew fell back, surprised by the will still standing. But numbers won. Jack went down, wrists tied, a hood pulled. Hannah bit a hand, broke free, then lost him in the traffic. She called the driver. "I lost him." Her words shook like glass. The driver answered, "We won't. He's too stubborn to disappear forever." That night the city felt enormous, and Hannah felt very small. She stood outside the station, but no report matched his description anywhere. The reporter posted a clip, "Men dragging someone into a van today." Comments exploded. Strangers offered tips. Someone drew a dragon in emojis. Hannah followed leads to a warehouse near the river. Windows blacked out. She texted the driver, "Circle, lights off, keep the engine warm." Inside, Jack listened to boots, counted door hinges, rewound old drills. A voice promised money for silence, and harm for stubbornness precisely. "I have nothing you want," Jack said. "Accept my refusal, always." They laughed, then moved closer with something electric and unkind buzzing. Hannah slipped through a side door, harp roaring, phone camera already recording. She whispered, "Jack," and the whole room tilted toward her word. He used that tilt, rolled, kicked the table, broke the cheap light. Darkness owned the room. Boots guessed, fists missed, rope scraped concrete. The driver cut the power outside. The reporter streamed from the alley. Sirens sounded far away, growing louder like rain coming over hills. Dragon Wrist grabbed Hannah, pressed a blade, and made a final offer. "Marry our debt," he hissed, "or lose your brave shadow forever." Jack breathed once, then spoke. "Hannah, remember the bell." His voice calm. She nodded, dropped the phone, and stomped the tiny bell hard. Its ring burst bright. The driver charged. The camera flash blinded. Jack surged to his feet, found the rope's knot, tore it open. The fight turned messy, loud, and human, with fear and courage wrestling. The police finally entered. Dragon Wrist slipped out a side door, disappearing. They cuffed 2 men. The rest scattered into rain and traffic horns. A medic checked Jack. He waved away the stretcher, stubborn and smiling. Hannah held his face. "Don't vanish again," she said, eyes wet. "Never," he promised. "Unless we need the trick for a plan." She laughed, a sound that fixed his shaking more than bandages could. The police took statements. The reporter saved copies to cloud and drive. The clan would regroup. Everyone knew. Storms hardly finish after one lightning. Jack moved back to his corner, but sleep would not visit. Hannah sat in her car, keys silent, watching his small shelter. She breathed once, then twice, then whispered, "I love you, stubborn man." He didn't hear the words, but he felt the city soften slightly. Morning brought resolve. Tired people can still build brave plans together. Hannah arranged a meeting with a federal agent who hated predatory loans. The reporter offered evidence. The driver marked routes and license plates. Jack visited the florist, the bike shop, and the helpful cook. He asked for small favors: timing, doors, loud music at exactly noon. The sergeant called back, connected a task force to the river warehouse. Save the Cat finale needed teamwork. Everyone had a small miracle ready. Jack shaved, trimmed his hair, and taped his ribs, quietly focused. Hannah packed documents, wills, accounts, and a copy of her father's notes. She wore running shoes under the suit, ready for stairs and sprints. The plan was simple: bait the clan with one last contract. The contract canceled all debts and tied them to past crimes. They met at a shipping yard, cranes looming like patient gray giants. Dragon Wrist arrived with 5 cars, polite bows covering coiled rage. "We finished today," Hannah said. "Or you face cameras and prison." "Both," Jack added. "We brought cameras and police. Choose your door." The driver parked across the exit, engine running, horn ready for signal. The reporter stood on a truck bed, microphone steady, live feed rolling. The florist set up a pop-up stall, hiding medics and radios cleverly. The cook delivered tea, sweet and hot, masking the smell of fear. Jack wheeled his cart into view, still homeless to any distant lens. Dragon Wrist sneered. "You still hide behind trash and plastic, soldier?" "I stand behind courage," Jack said. "Trash sometimes hides the brave." Papers slid across a crate. The lawyer frowned at the wording carefully. "Unacceptable," he said. "Return to original terms or face consequences now." Hannah lifted her father's notes, showing payments made 3 times over. The reporter zoomed in. The stream filled with hearts and shocked faces. The agent stepped from a van, badge bright, voice even and official. "We have questions," she said, "and warrants. Please keep your hands visible." Dragon Wrist smiled, tapped his earbud, and snapped his fingers once. 4 men moved toward Hannah. Jack moved faster than memory allowed. He blocked, redirected, and turned their energy against concrete and steel rails. The driver blasted the horn. Medics rushed forward with cameras and stretchers. The florist spilled roses, tripping a runner, petals flying like red snow. The agent's team cuffed the lawyer. The live stream loved the sudden reversal. Dragon Wrist drew a blade. Jack stepped between, calm as morning tide. "And this," Jack said. "Walk away or fall into your shadow." Dragon Wrist lunged. Jack pivoted. The blade clanged against iron. The agent shouted, "Down!" Dragon Wrist hesitated, then tried to run. A drone buzzed overhead. The reporter laughed. The world watched choices. Jack tackled him, not cruel, just final, like closing a heavy door. Cuffs clicked. The crowd exhaled. Gulls called over distant water gently. Hannah exhaled too, shoulders shaking, then laughed through tears, relief bright. She hugged Jack hard. "No more pretending you're not here," she said. "No more pretending I don't love you," Jack answered, voice steady. The agent approached, respectful. "You kept people alive. We saw everything." "Will they return?" Hannah asked. "Debt grows heads when you cut them." "Not this time," the agent said. "Your case closes the garden." The driver cheered. The florist clapped. The cook wiped happy eyes. The sergeant texted, "Told you to hold steady." "Proud of you, brother." The reporter signed off with a smile, then hugged them both warmly. Afternoon slipped toward gold. Cranes threw long shadows across safer ground. Jack looked at his cart, dents shining, tarp folded like old skin. "I can let it go," he said, "if you ask me." Hannah nodded, tears soft. "Please let it go. Come home with me." He smiled, slow and certain. "Home," he repeated, tasting the word carefully. They walked the cart to a shelter, donated blankets, tools, and wheels. He kept the bent umbrella, a memory of the first night. They visited the courthouse. Paperwork finally said what hearts already chose. The building smelled like paper and hope. Their signatures felt like windows. Friends from the street arrived, dressed in donated suits and clean shoes. The florist brought flowers. The cook baked rolls. The driver tuned music. The agent attended off-duty. The reporter filmed only for their album. Jack wore a simple suit. Hannah wore a dress with secret pockets. "For keys," she said, laughing. "And for our silly bell always." He rang the tiny bell once. Everyone cheered. The echo felt endless. Vows were short, real, and warm, built from nights of danger survived. "I will guard your mornings," Jack said. "And your quiet always?" "I will stand with you," Hannah said. "In light and in storms." They kissed, ordinary and perfect, like two tired people choosing joy. Afterward, they walked outside. The city sounded new, kinder, almost gentle. Jack carried his umbrella. Hannah carried his hand. Both carried future. They passed the old corner. The alcove looked smaller than remembered before. He left a note there. "Thank you, place, for keeping me alive." They moved into a small apartment, windows facing the patient river. Jack fixed the squeaky hinge. Hannah fixed the stubborn landlord paperwork. They cooked soup, laughed, and fell asleep without sirens in their ribs. Morning brought sunlight on mugs. A quiet table felt like a medal. Jack visited the bike shop, handed back tools he had borrowed. The owner grinned. "Heard the news. Need part-time work, newlywed soldier?" "Yes," Jack said. "And evenings as a teacher for street safety." Hannah opened a clinic hour for people with scary contracts and threats. Together, they turned old fear into services other people could reach. On weekends, they trained defense basics in the park beside the benches. Kids learned the bell signal. Parents learned routes and windows and light. The city seemed to breathe easier, knowing guardians lived behind gentle smiles. At night, they told their story to friends, simple, honest, grateful. Jack kept one tradition, sweeping glass before dawn, making paths kinder. Hannah kept one promise, never letting him face darkness alone again. The driver visited often, bringing street news and jokes that healed. The florist sent lily every month, white for peace, red for courage. The cook fed everyone, saying food keeps heroes from getting foolish. The reporter mailed a photo, the umbrella guarding two held hands. They framed it above the door, where good luck likes to stand. And if you pass them, you will hear laughter, not fear anymore. And that is the end of this story, my dear friends. Thank you so much for staying with me until the last moment. Your support means the world to this little channel, more than you know. I read every single comment, and I love hearing how these stories reach you. So please share your thoughts, your feelings, and even where you're watching from. Together we keep these stories alive, and I can't wait to meet you again in the next one, maybe even the one waiting on your screen right now.